Welcome back, everybody, to the New York Knicks, MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K23. We have made it to the trade deadline here in year number 2 of the series. I'm expecting a big trade deadline from us and around the league. We were playing 500 ball up until the start of January when we got hit by the injury bug, and thus everything has fallen apart since then. On one hand, we're the 13th seed in the Eastern Conference. We're playing poorly and are projected to have a top 5 pick to go along with our other 2 first-rounders. And based on some of our recent moves, it might look like we're selling. In the last episode, we traded away Julius Randle to the Miami Heat. We didn't really get a whole lot back over year 7 and a future first-round pick, along with a trade exception that we'll be able to void in the offseason. I know that's not a ton for a guy like Julius Randle, who at one point was an All-NBA caliber player just a couple of years ago, but he has really fallen off. On the other hand, we are a game out of 10th place in the Eastern Conference, and a play-in spot is within reach. There are a lot of teams competing for these play-in spots, including the Bucks, who are really finally starting to play well, Miami, Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit. Those 6 teams are fighting for 3 play-in spots, and we're right at the bottom of that group. So we don't have a very good shot at the play-in, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. So we have a number of different ways we could go here during the trade deadline. In the last episode, I talked about some big moves we could look to make in the future with all of our draft capital. However, I don't think that's going to be today. I think it's more likely we go out and acquire a star this upcoming offseason, and I think we're going to continue to try to accumulate assets in order to give us an even bigger stockpile of draft picks and whatnot to eventually go out and make that big move for the star player that the New York Knicks have been looking for, really ever since Carmelo Anthony was traded close to a decade ago at this point. We talked about guys like Zion Williamson and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being at the top of our list, and then Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal being fallback options as well. So as it stands now, we are in the process of trying to trade away Mitchell Robinson because he's grown very frustrated with the team, even though he's had the same role that he had last year. He's been a full-time starter, and he started in every game before us and Mitchell Robinson mutually agreed to have him not play up until the trade deadline after his trade request. So I ended up putting him in the trade finder, and I did find some kind of interesting offers for him that weren't necessarily realistic, but also a little bit tempting, I'm not going to lie. So there were some stars on the table, put it that way, when I put him into the trade finder, as you'll see here in just a moment. We could have gotten Paul George, we could have gotten Julius Randle back, CJ McCollum, Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, but ultimately I didn't make any of those trades because it doesn't really make sense for the other teams involved. And I think for now, we're just going to keep doing what we've done with Mitchell Robinson. I think he's going to stay out of the lineup. Quite frankly, the other 2 centers we have are almost as good as him, and if his heart's not in it, then I think it's not really worth it for either us or Mitchell Robinson to have him on the floor. So we're going to wait it out till the offseason and try to trade him then, and if not, then that would be kind of a problem. But I think we will find a trade for him in the offseason, unless we can reconcile the relationship and have him come back, which would also be nice. We are going to make a different trade here at the Houston Rockets, sending away Christian Braun and a future second-round pick in exchange for forward Jae'Sean Tate. For those who don't know, I'm a diehard Kansas basketball fan. I love my guy Christian Braun, one of my favorite players on the 2022 National Championship team. But we have a logjam in terms of guards. He just really hasn't carved out a role this year, and I would rather see him succeed elsewhere because I don't think it's going to be here. So we're going to give him and a second-rounder to the Rockets in exchange for Jae'Sean Tate, a talented forward who's only 6'4", but he plays big. He's more of a power forward. Solid scorer, good defensively. He's versatile. He can defend bigs and on the perimeter. Good playmaker for his size as well. Now, his numbers have dropped off this year because he's gotten less minutes, but he's not on a bad contract. He has a team option this summer, so if he plays well, we'll probably accept that, and I think he could be a good high-energy player for us going forward. I guess you could say this is our move to push us towards the play-in because Jae'Sean Tate is a pretty good player. And then the other move we're going to make is with the Pacers, trading away Tre Jones and 3 second-round picks. Tre Jones is another guy who hasn't really carved out a role this year. I know I talked about him as a guy who could try to recruit someone like Zion Williamson to wanting to play here, but we still have RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish who both can do that. We're giving away 2 of our second-round picks this year. We have 4 second-rounders in this year's draft. We don't need all 4 of them. We're also going to give away an additional second-rounder in exchange for a future first and Duncan Robinson. Robinson has not shot the ball well this year. He's on a really bad contract, but I think he can be a guy who we maybe use as somebody who could try to match salaries in a future trade. He's not going to see any minutes. He's not really all that good, and he's a negative asset because of his contract. But again, he's going to be a guy who can hopefully match salary in the future. So we gave up a lot of second-round picks, but we got a future first-rounder from Indiana, and we got a pretty good player in Jae'Sean Tate. As I talked about earlier, we don't need all those second-round picks. We drafted 3 players last year in the second round with Mayo, Cherry, and Watkins, and it's hard to think that all 3 of them are going to stick around in the long term because, well, quite frankly, there are only so many roster spots here. So why draft 7 rookies next year when we already have 6 this year? So with our 2 trade deadline moves, this is what the lineup is going to look like. Obviously, keep in mind RJ Barrett is out with an ankle injury for the time being, so it'll look different and better when he comes back. That's what we're going to be rocking with for now. So those are our 2 trades here for the deadline, but what about some of the moves around the rest of the league? Let me just tell you, there's going to be some fireworks, so get your popcorn ready because the landscape of the NBA is about to change big time. So as I look at the bottom of the standings, there are 2 older teams who might need to start rebuilding. They are the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Clippers. Starting with Brooklyn, everything here revolves around Kevin Durant pretty much. KD requested a trade in the summer of 2022 before shortly returning to the team. And then last summer, the Nets dealt away Kyrie Irving in a sign and trade to the Memphis Grizzlies. In essence, Kevin Durant then said, if this season does not go to plan, I want out. Despite the development of first-round pick Levi Beauregard, this season has not gone to plan for the Nets as they are the 14th seed in the Eastern Conference, and thus Kevin Durant wants a trade. There were 2 bidders for him here at the deadline, the first one being the Phoenix Suns and then the Atlanta Hawks. Both teams offered a package of 3 players and 3 first-round picks, but ultimately Kevin Durant was traded away to the Phoenix Suns. I think this makes a lot of sense in a basketball's perspective for both Kevin Durant and the Suns. Phoenix has not been all that good this year. They're currently the 10th seed in the Western Conference, but you've got to assume Kevin Durant's going to be a big spark for them. Maybe they can grab, say, the 6th seed in the playoffs, and then from there, who knows? A lot of the top teams in the Western Conference are super young, so maybe a veteran team like the Suns, adding a former Finals MVP in Kevin Durant, can make them one of the favorites in the conference. Jay Crowder is also going to the Suns. I know Crowder's had his differences with the Suns in the past, but maybe they can reconcile things here with a different role. I think Jay Crowder is probably going to be starting now for the time being, so I think they'll be able to work it out. The Nets are going to be getting a lot in return, headlined by one of Phoenix's first-round rookies, Ches Regenworth, who's averaging around 12 and 8. He can't shoot at all, but he's got a lot of upside and could be a star. Landry Shamet is in the deal mainly for salary purposes, and then former Knick Quentin Grimes, who's having a pretty good season this year in Phoenix, will be returning to the New York City area, joining the Nets. Along with those 3 players, the Nets will receive 3 first-round picks, 1 from Charlotte this year. The Hornets are actually pretty good, 1 from the Suns next year, and 1 from Cleveland the following year. If I were to guess, I think all 3 of those picks aren't going to be great, but who knows? Anything can happen here in a short time period in the NBA. Maybe the Kevin Durant trade flops and the Suns ends up being really bad next year. Who knows what the Cavaliers are going to look like in 2 years. So the Suns make a big splash by going out and getting Kevin Durant, which maybe will help them push closer to a play-in spot and maybe even a playoff spot. I think this is going to be a really good addition for Kevin Durant. I think this is going to be a much better basketball situation, and now the Nets, with a lot of young talent and draft picks, are going to be able to rebuild with Levi Beauregard as their franchise player. As for the Los Angeles Clippers, they have both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on player options this summer. The Clippers have not been good, and thus it seems like Kawhi and PG will be breaking up. The Hawks struck out for Kevin Durant, but they will not strike out on Paul George. So he will be an Atlanta Hawk. The Hawks, I think, are the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. So now they've become one of the big-time favorites in the conference, adding another star-level player. They don't really have a true backup point guard, so John Wall is also in the deal going to Atlanta. The trade offer is not as much as what was offered for Kevin Durant, but it's still a lot. AJ Griffin is the headlining piece. He's only 20 years old and is having a pretty solid season. Jalen Johnson's another former first-round pick, only 22 years old, another guy with a lot of upside, along with 2 1s and 2 2s. I think it's a fair trade. Again, keep in mind, Paul George is a free agent in the offseason, so the Clippers don't have a ton of leverage. As for Kawhi Leonard, they could not find a trade, so Leonard is going to sit out for the rest of the year. I mean, Kawhi Leonard sits out when the team is good anyway. Got to assume Leonard probably declines his player option. If he chooses to accept the player option, then he'll probably be traded away instead. As for Atlanta, they get a big piece in Paul George, and now the Clippers are absolutely awful, as they're probably not even going to have a high pick thanks to the Paul George trade with the Thunder. A couple smaller trades here. Denny Avdija traded away from Washington to the Blazers in exchange for Harrison Gretsch. The Wizards are the worst team in the Eastern Conference, and Avdija is a free agent, so it makes sense. Harrison Gretsch is an interesting young rookie who the Blazers used a first-round pick on. And then Isaiah Stewart to the Bulls, straight up for Patrick Williams. These are two possible play-in teams helping each other out, but the Pistons have a logjam at center. They don't really need Isaiah Stewart. They need more talent on the wings. As for the Bulls, they have a logjam on the wings. They don't have a lot of size, so they don't really need Patrick Williams. So it seems like a good swap for both sides. Both players are restricted free agents in the offseason, and I don't think they would have come back to their respective teams. So I think it's a pretty fair trade across the board. Both teams helping each other out. And then finally, the Dallas Mavericks, they felt like they needed to go out and make a move. They'll be getting Devin Vassell from the Spurs, another player who's a free agent in the offseason. The Spurs have the worst record in the league right now. They'll be getting Jaden Hardy and Dallas's first-round pick. The Mavericks are the best team in the league, even though their roster isn't all that good. Luka Doncic is averaging a 42-point triple-double, so Dallas had to feel like they needed to get another piece to help them push towards a championship. So there you go. Really exciting trade deadline here. Obviously, the two blockbusters being Paul George to Atlanta and Kevin Durant to Phoenix. Very curious to see how the NBA landscape will really change with those moves. I wanted to play this game against the Hornets because I want to see if they're legit. They're the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, which is a major surprise because last year they were one of the worst teams in the league. LaMelo Ball's taken the superstar leap. I think that's probably the main reason why the Hornets are good this year, even though their roster isn't all that spectacular. It's been the LaMelo Ball show. He's averaging 30 and 10. He's going to get a massive payday, probably from Charlotte, in the offseason as he has continued to improve every season of his career. And if not for Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum having the 2 greatest individual seasons in NBA history, LaMelo Ball would be talked about as an MVP candidate. As for the Knicks, we'll get our first look at Jae'Sean Tate making his New York Knicks debut. Quite an interesting lineup for the Knicks. They're going with DiCarlo, Brunson, Reddish, Jae'Sean Tate at the 4, and then Yurtseven at the 5. 2 obviously new additions here of Yurtseven being acquired in the last episode and now Jae'Sean Tate being acquired now. We're taking some shots on young guys. We're hoping that maybe they can be pieces in the long term, and if not, so be it. Yurtseven wins the tip against Clint Capella. And we are underway. The Hornets and the Knicks here at Madison Square Garden. Are the 3-seed Hornets for real? DiCarlo goes inside on the pick and roll. It's Jae'Sean Tate. His first points as a Knick. Welcome to New York, buddy. That pass is intercepted. Cesar DiCarlo steals it away. Gets it inside for Jalen Brunson, who makes the layup despite a conservative block attempt by Jonathan Isaac. Conservative, just like his political ideology. 4-3. Here is LaMelo Ball. Pull-up jumper won't fall. Rebounded by Capella, and he will get the putback. Clint Capella has really been Charlotte's second option this year. Him and James Bouknight mainly, yet they're still the 3-seed. Credit to him. Bouknight gets it over to LaMelo Ball. He gets his first points of the day. Charlotte up early, 11-6. The Knicks offense has kind of struggled early on as DiCarlo's pass is tipped by Isaac and stolen away by LaMelo Ball. Ball in transition, goes inside, gets it over to Jonathan Isaac. His 3 will fall, and the Hornets are up big, 14-6. The Knicks offense with 6 points in the first 4.5 minutes, really laying a goose egg. Capella goes inside for Isaac, who has the mismatch with Jalen Brunson. Charlotte now up by 10. The Knicks look horrible right now. I mean, this is just a disaster to start this game. DiCarlo inside, gets it over to Killa. Cam Reddish in the corner. He hits the 3. Maybe the Knicks offense can start to get some momentum going. Caden Frost, the rookie, gets it over to Bouknight in the corner for 3. Shot won't fall. Rebounded by Capella. Gets it over to Ball. His shot will not fall. A 3rd chance for Charlotte. It's Isaac inside, no good. A 4th chance for Isaac, no good. Capella, 5th time's the charm. Charlotte got 5 shots on that possession. That's 4 offensive rebounds. In other words, that is unacceptable. 18-9. Here is the rookie. Splash Mayo inside with the and 1. In just under 15 minutes a game, Mayo's averaging 9 points per contest. He's been legitimately really good ever since coming back from his injury. Quickly gets it over to the rookie, Patrick Feinstein, who throws it down. The Knicks are starting to play a little bit better after a disastrous start as quickly gets it in the corner for Splash Mayo, who hits the 3. 23-17. Here is Ricky Rubio inside for the big fella Andre Drummond. No good. Grabs his own rebound. Fools Kabongo on the pump fake. Charlotte probably has more offensive rebounds than the Knicks do total rebounds today, which, again, is pretty unacceptable. Splash Mayo with the screen. Mayo gonna let it fly. 9 points in the first quarter for Splash Mayo. He is him right now. Shot no good from Charlotte. The Knicks are going to try to get this one off quickly, as Quickly gets it over to Mayo. Doesn't get it off in time. Not going to matter as it doesn't go in anyway. The Knicks played, honestly, other than Splash Mayo, the Knicks played horribly in that first quarter, yet they're only down by 6. 27-21. Here is LaMelo. Gets by Cherry. Lobs it up. Hum-diddly-dee. Jackson Hayes throws it down. 29-21. Here's Watkins over to Reddish. Reddish inside. Scores in contact. Draws the foul. It's an and one for Killicam, who had a 30-point quarter in the last episode against Miami Heat. Here's Quickly inside. Blows by Dominic Cherry. That is not very good defense, and it's now 31-26. Cherry looking to make up for it as he... Yeah, I mean, that play is really the Knicks' offense this entire game. 26 points with 6 minutes left to go in the first half. That's brutal. And again, they're only down by 5. As bad as the Knicks are playing, Charlotte's been very unimpressive too. Nice step back by LaMelo Ball. Ball hasn't really made any mistakes so far, but he's got to take over this game. He's not looking like a superstar per se, and if he did, I think the Hornets would be up big. I mean, again, the Hornets their offense looks very anemic. They held the ball the entire shot clock, and LaMelo heaped up a prayer. On the other end, Jayshawn Tate misses the layup. He's missed a few layups early in this game, but luckily Omer Yurtseven is there for the putback. He's got 6 rebounds in the first half. 33-28, here's Brunson inside, makes the layup, and again, as bad as the Knicks have played, I feel like, they're only down by 1 possession. 35-32, Rubio tries to get by DiCarlo inside for the veteran Andre Drummond, who fools Kabongo and gets the dunk. Ahmed Kabongo has looked lost tonight. I know he's a rookie, he's a raw player, but defensively he's looked lost out there. Now offensively, he's making some plays like that one, throwing it down with a two-handed slam. 39-34, Kabongo with the screen. DiCarlo inside with the throwdown. Cesar DiCarlo, the Italian stallion, with the slam. 39-36, here's Drummond backing down on Kabongo. That time, Kabongo had really good defense, but Drummond just made a really hard shot. 41-38 with a little bit over a minute left to go in the half. Very low-scoring game as the lob attempt is good from LaMelo over to Clint Capella. Clint Capella is one of the bigger lob threats in the league, so you pair him up with an unbelievable passer like LaMelo Ball. That's a scary duo as Quickly goes inside for the and one. Great play by Emmanuel Quickly, his first points of the day. He did miss the 3-throw. Very rare from Quickly. He's only missed a few this year. Kabongo, the rookie out of the Democratic Republic of Congo, snuffs Drummond. On the other end, it's Mayo who makes the layup. Splash Mayo is so good at scoring and contact inside. I know we know him as a sharpshooter, but he is so good driving to the basket and making plays. A jump ball is won, I guess, by the Hornets. That was ugly. I mean, that's what happens when you have Gabe Vincent and Emmanuel Quickly going for a jump ball. Time winding down here in the first half. Quickly with it, going to try to go inside, and he is no good. His shot goes off the back iron. The Knicks have missed seemingly like 7 layups in the first half as the TNT crew recapping the Kevin Durant trade. A lot more to talk about there than in this game because it has been ugly. The Knicks have played, again, in my opinion, really badly today, but they're only down by 3. The Charlotte Hornets have not played any better. They have been really unimpressive to me for being the 3 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. In the third quarter, DiCarlo with it, and he steps out of bounds. It doesn't seem like the offensive woes in the first half from the Knicks are going away. We'll see if Charlotte can maybe really try to get some things going in the second half. LaMelo sends it in the corner for Jonathan Isaac, who hits the corner 3 on the right wing, just like his political ideology. 48-44, James Bouknight now with it. Bouknight inside for Capella, who throws it down. The Hornets looking good early here in this third quarter. LaMelo Ball guarded by Reddish. He gets it over to James Bouknight. He hits the 3. Charlotte up by 9. That's the Hornets' biggest lead of the night. We'll see if they can extend the lead here. Ball guarded by Brunson. We'll see what he's going to do. He gets it over to Jonathan Isaac, who makes the layup over Jayshawn Tate. Hornets now up by 11. The Knicks offense has scored 2 points in the first 4 minutes of the second half. So somehow they've been even worse than they were in the first half, as Yurtseven makes a tough layup. That's just the Knicks' second field goal since halftime. Pretty inexcusable. Here's Cam Reddish off the screen, hits the three. Maybe Cam Reddish can get hot again, just like he did in the third quarter of the last episode against Miami. It's only a 6-point game. The lob attempt is unsuccessful. LaMelo Ball's had a lot of bad passes tonight. Then on the other end, Reddish inside. He will make the layup off the assist by Jackson Watkins. 55-51. Again, the Knicks are not playing well in this third quarter, but the Hornets have played almost equally as bad. Jackson Hayes does make the layup there. It's a 7-point lead. Quickly goes inside, gets it over to Watkins in the corner for Splash, who misses the three. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten so excited. Quickly misses the layup. Again, the Knicks cannot make a layup to save their lives. It's so hard to watch. 58-51. LaMelo over the extended arm of Splash Mayo. Hits the pull-up jumper. Hornets back up by 9. About 2.5 minutes left in the quarter. Quickly inside for the rookie, Ahmed Kabongo, drafted with the 28th overall pick out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. 60-53 now. LaMelo inside, gets it over to Jackson Hayes, who makes the dunk. I know it's kind of a running joke in real life that the Hornets have a bunch of criminals, so it's so fitting that they've added Jackson Hayes. Here's Splash Mayo, who hits the three off the screen. Splash Mayo's been the only bright spot tonight for the Knicks. As bad as the team has played, Mayo's been really good as he loses the ball on that possession. And then on the other end, here's LaMelo. What are we doing here, guys? I mean, LaMelo's passes have not been good tonight. This game as a whole has just been brutal to watch. Good off-ball cut by Splash Mayo. Again, so good off the ball. I think that's why he's going to be a really good player in this league for such a long time. Mayo goes inside for Feinstein, who makes the layup. Other than Mayo, I think Feinstein's been the only other guy for the Knicks who's been somewhat good today. Feinstein's given the Knicks high-energy minutes on both ends of the floor, in my opinion, as LaMelo has it stripped away by Mayo. Another turnover from LaMelo Ball. Here is quickly now over to Feinstein with the slam! The white man can jump too! Patrick Feinstein with the throwdown! What a dunk by the rookie out of the University of Colorado. It's a 4-point game, now a 2-point game off the line mid-ranger by Splash Mayo. Mayo's not a good mid-range shooter, so it's nice to see him making that shot. We'll see if the Hornets can get one more basket. LaMelo! Home diddly-dee! He hits it at the buzzer. Now both offenses are starting to come alive these past couple of minutes. Finally! 69-64, although it's mostly been an ugly game today. If nothing else, at least it's close. At least we should have an interesting fourth quarter here. We'll see if both offenses can keep up the momentum from finally playing well towards the end of the third quarter, as LaMelo finally makes a nice pass over to Clint Capella. LaMelo's passing today is eerily similar to another New York passer, Zach Wilson. There is Omer Yurtseven. He will make the layup. 73-72. The Knicks are only down by 1. LaMelo with the spin move, chucks it off the glass. Again, what is he doing? The Knicks now have a chance to take the lead. It's Killa, Cam, Reddish, who hits the three. And the New York Knicks, for as bad as they've played today, are winning in the fourth quarter. The Knicks have the lead, and it lasts like 10 seconds as LaMelo Ball hits a three shortly thereafter. 76-75, about 6 minutes to go. Here is DiCarlo off the screen inside for Omer Yurtseven, who has 12 and 9. He's been efficient offensively tonight, the big man, as the Knicks are back up by 1, 76-77. LaMelo gets it over to Jonathan Isaac. He shot the ball well tonight. Isaac is not a great offensive player, but he does make the three. He's had a few in this game. Here is Yurtseven with the screen for the rookie, Cesar DiCarlo. He hits the triple. Both teams trading the lead back and forth as it's now 81-82 with about 4 minutes to go. LaMelo with the floater off the glass. Soft touch. It is good. And the Hornets lead by 1. Now they lead by 3. Here is the big fella, Clint Capella. Maybe you shouldn't have him dribbling the ball as he steps out of bounds. Point Capella? I don't think Charlotte wants that to be a thing. 85-82. Layup is good. That's the rookie, Caden Frost, making a nice play as the Knicks call a timeout. Quickly turns it over. It's intercepted by Jonathan Isaac. The New York Knicks offense is again playing like they did in the first 2.5 quarters as LaMelo makes the layup. 89-82 with about 2 minutes to go. Bouknight has it in the corner, guarded by Quickly. Bouknight with space for three. Got it! James Bouknight hits the three. 92-82. Let's go a minute later. Neither team can make a shot because both teams still suck today. LaMelo turns it over again. He's literally a turnover pastry chef. And then DeCarlo's blocked at the rim. The Knicks have not scored in like 4 minutes. It has been a disaster here. Thank God this game is over because the New York Knicks played horribly. Somehow they had a chance to win really the entire game because the Hornets did not play a whole lot better. Charlotte was really unimpressive today. They did not look like a typical 3 seed. Maybe we just caught them on an off night, but the Hornets did not play well despite winning at 13. We had 82 points with 4:16 left to go in the fourth, and we did not score for another 4 minutes. I think that is a perfect description of how this game went for us today, particularly offensively. Splash Mayo balled out, 21 points in 9 minutes. He was great. The problem is everybody else played like dog water. Players not named Splash Mayo shot 4 of 21 from 3. I mean, just brutal. I know we're talking about this team as a chance to make a play-in spot. We're only like 2 games back now, but I mean, if you guys watched that game, we do not pass the eye test. We played horribly. Jayshawn Tate was not good. 1 of 8. He missed like 4 layups today, which is inexcusable. LaMelo with 22, 10, and 7. He did a lot of bad plays as well. The Hornets just didn't really overly impress me, and if we played half decently, I think we could have won. We're going to simulate to the All-Star break now. Got a game against the Spurs, Bucks, and Bulls. The Spurs are pretty bad, but the Bucks and Bulls are both fighting for a playoff spot. And we ended up beating the Spurs by 29. Cesar DeCarlo's performance was especially interesting. 7 of 7 from the field, but 0 for 7 from 3. Also, shout out to Jayshawn Tate. 10, 10, and 6. That's what I want to see. We lost to the Bucks only by 5, and then we beat the Bulls. So we've got a little bit of momentum going into the All-Star break as we start with the Rising Stars Challenge between Team USA and Team World. We don't have anybody on Team USA. That's not really a surprise. And then on Team World, I was hoping for Cesar DeCarlo, but considering he's missed half the season, I understand why he's not here. Ahmed Kabongo is there, the rookie out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. I believe Team World is on the left, Team USA is on the right. I guess we're rooting for Team World for Kabongo, and Team World ended up winning by a lot. Ty Williams and Paulo Banchero lead the way for Team USA. And then for Team World, Christopher Killebrew with 27 and 8. I didn't even realize Christopher Killebrew wasn't from America. Was he just like randomly Canadian this whole time? Kabongo is pretty good, 10 and 6, 5 of 9 shooting from the field. That'll bring us to All-Star Saturday night. Here's the 3-point contest, very star-studded group. And then the dunk contest features, hopefully, future Nick, Zion Williamson, along with Ant-Man, Jalen Green, and former Nick, Obi Toppin, who's been solid this year with the Washington Wizards. Tatum won the 3-point contest, Zion won the dunk contest, and then here are the all-star rosters. Obviously, no Knicks players. I mean, let's be real, we don't have an all-star on our team at all. Hopefully, we have some of these guys make it in the future, but obviously no one this year. Is Kawhi Leonard going to play? I mean, what's the deal with that? Is he just going to randomly play the All-Star game or what? So, as we simulate the All-Star break, Team Luka is on the left and Team Joel Embiid is on the right. It ended up being a pretty close game, but Team Luka ended up getting the win. Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns now leads Team Joel with 22, Jokic with 21, Embiid with 18. And then for Team Luka, Jason Tatum, 28, 7, and 6, Luka with 27, 6, and 6. And then Kawhi did not end up playing. I think they replaced him with Jaren Jackson of the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to simulate these next 5 games here going into the final stretch of the season. Splash Mayo bruises his shoulder. That's unfortunate. We have made it to the contract extension deadline. There is a quick move I want to make. Emmanuel Quickley is a free agent in the offseason. He's eligible to be re-signed. He wants to re-sign, so we're going to bring him back. 1-year, short-term deal. Welcome back to the team. Jayshawn Tate hurts his knee. That's not good. So with RJ Barrett back and Mayo and Tate hurt, the rotation looks a little bit different now. In the 5-game stretch that we simulated, we ended up going 2-3, which I think all things considered isn't that bad because we played some really good teams, including beating the Celtics. I don't know why, we just seem to have the Celtics number in this series. So if nothing else, at least we're good against a big-time rival. So that's going to wrap up the episode. Next time, we might get through the entire season. As of now, we're only half a game behind the play-in spot. I know, crazy, considering how badly we played in the game against Charlotte today. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get through part of this stretch, and then if we have a shot at the play-in tournament, then there's probably going to be 2 more episodes for this regular season. And if not, then there's going to be 1 more episode. So I'm not really sure yet exactly how I'm going to format it. It's really going to be dependent on how we play really through these next 2 or so weeks. Got a lot of games on the road, so it's certainly going to be a challenge. but it's certainly not impossible. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.